Welcome to the Coach Cameron podcast. This is episode 530. This is our Sunday edition. We're going to try to do a better job every Sunday. Maybe not. We have a lot of things to talk about. We have Taylor Twellman's epic rant. And is there outrage today? I don't think so. We just like to scream about things and let things go. We also have ACL prevention and laws of the game with medulla oblongata. And, something else. I'm not sure.
This episode is brought to you by CoachCameron.com, a place where you can get all your merchandise. Go to CoachCameron.com, click on the store, and buy the most expensive t-shirt you've ever bought, or the most expensive mug you've ever bought. You know why? Because I'm featured on it. I'm like the Nike symbol. Once you put me on it, it's going to cost twice of the value. But more importantly, you're contributing to a wonderful podcast. You will sustain this podcast if you make... I'm sorry, Coach Cam, I can't do this anymore. You are way overpriced. It's disgusting how much you're charging.
Then
for
don't do it.
Or leggings, or a t-shirt, or long sleeve. It's just too... I can't do it.
Then
Anyways,
don't.
If you want to buy merchandise of this podcast and
then
sustain it,
don't
do
agree
it.
of coming on the podcast and do it. Just get off. Get off. He's just nothing but he's so much a pain in my rear end. I just can't stand it. Anyways, so we have a lot of things to talk about. One thing I want to talk about is Taylor Twellman's epic rant. We talk about this, the outrage. We are a society we have outrage, and then we move on. We keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I want to do this every Sunday where I'm going to do What Are We Doing segment and discuss what we are doing, which we'll talk about that in a moment.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
The same thing over and over again. And U.S. soccer is a problem. Nothing will change because of the way we have everything set up. It's just different. So let's listen to Taylor Twellman's epic rant, and we'll break it down a little bit. But let's go ahead and talk about that.
It's not about tonight. It's not about Jurgen Klinsmann. It's not just about Bruce Arena. As a whole, U.S. soccer is not prepared. They have not done a good enough job of getting this group ready to play. And keep in mind, the last two Olympics, no United States. Those players that would be playing in the Olympics, 24 through 28, how many of them are in this roster? The players got to be good enough, too. So a lot of people on social media right now want to say it's Jurgen Klinsmann's fault, it's Bruce Arena's fault, it's Sunil Gulati's fault. By the way, as an ex-player, every single one of those players,
they can take some
nightmares for the rest of their lives because this is...
No, I disagree. They don't have nightmares for the rest of their lives. It's in America. Everyone already forgot. We already moved on in life. It's not like in Europe or somewhere else where they'll be punished for life for making those critical mistakes that we made. So Lexi Lawless was right. Bunch of prima donnas. They're more concerned about being made fun of on Instagram because their hair wasn't parted the right way.
Utter embarrassment with the amount of money that is in Major League Soccer and in this sport. You can't get a draw, a tie against Trinidad? Max, you don't deserve to go to the World Cup.
They certainly did. And people always say about it's tough to get points here, but I see Mexico get points.
Come on.
We can stop using that excuse.
Yes.
This is you look at this team, you look at this. They're going to be sitting around next summer, and they're going to be watching this World Cup go on without them. So what does this program do? Is this group, do you blow it up?
This is everything, though, Max. So, because I remind everyone, 2,000 Euros, Germany laid an egg, and they all came together. Bundesliga, second Bundesliga, DFB, the German Football Federation, all came together with a 10-year plan. Guess what happened in 10 years? They won that World Cup. If this failure...
That's great for Germany, but Germany has a culture of soccer, as we do in the U.S., but we don't go after them. The difference between Germany and us and a lot of the other countries actually keep winning World Cups is they have a huge population of players they actually pay attention to that are soccer. I mean, they're in the culture of soccer. We have that here, but we don't go after them. We go after those who can pay to be seen, and in lie, that's our
Does
problem.
not wake up everyone from U.S. soccer to Major League Soccer, from pay to play to broadcasters to everything, that we're all insane. Because the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing, knowing the result.
Love it.
And that's what we're doing. And I love that quote by Taylor. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again, knowing the result. We're doing the same thing. So we had Sanel, Glotty as our president, and what did we do? We replaced him with a banker because his sell was, we need more money because we can't compete with the French and the Germans because they have so much more money than us. It's all based on money. That's how we're gonna make it. And that would made more sense to me if it was about the we need lots more money because we have to pay the women off so they can stop complaining, so we can focus on fixing the men's and the whole culture we have, as far as our selection process and who we develop. We're developing players like Taylor Twellman, and I don't know this to be true, but I'm guessing that he grew up watching basketball and football and all those other things, and soccer was just something he did and he was just good at it, versus a whole population of people we have in this country that grow up watching the game, love the game. They can name every player in the Bundesliga and the Premier League and the Spanish League. They can name players because they watch them play. They go to dad's adult league games that, they get pulled out of school to go watch Champions League. Those are the players we want. Those are players we need to develop because they are part of it. There's something about having players that actually grow up with the ball in their foot when they can walk right away. It's different versus Taylor Twellman.
Don't change it, and I mean everyone in U.S. soccer, then what are we doing? What's the point? Because that should have never happened with the $1 billion plus that is going into Major League Soccer and youth development. That should have never happened, and it did, and every single person should look themselves in the mirror. And by the way, that's including myself. Yeah, I'm part of U.S. soccer.
We're all involved in this.
I played for the program. It's embarrassing.
We're all involved, and we're sick, and we look at what this team has been able to do, and a lot of times the criticism comes and they repel the criticism. The criticism, it's going to come in thick and fast.
Let's
and I hear
grow
what
up.
you're saying now. The gloves are off at this point, and people got to be real. And
well, you and I have talked about this off camera. Well, guess what? I see that little red light. It's on, and I'm going to bring it up right now.
Okay.
The gloves should have been off years ago. We should have been having real criticism. And the discussion after Brazil, Max, was can we beat the Colombias and the Belgians and the Argentinas of the world? You kidding me? We can't beat Trinidad on a field that's too wet and too heavy? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is the...
All right, for the ones that listen to my live podcast, here's a segment. I'm redoing this segment because it went mute. And that was my fault because I'm a newbie. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. So what we're going to transition to is we're going to look into what have we done. So we're going to be talking about it every week about what are we doing, and it's the same stuff. It's the same people involved. It's, USL's going to be bringing this new thought process, and you're going to see a video breaking down the whole USL expansion into the youth game, and it's the same stuff. Nothing has changed. So we have this minimized outrage, and it's sad and whatever. So anyways, apologize for the ones that watch my live view with me going muted, but I'm going to address that right now. So, have fun with this one. Freak.
MLS-academy player development model, more communities than ever are going to be able to offer a clear path to professional soccer. Traditionally, most academy programs field 3 or more teams between U15 to U19. Oftentimes, though, the top talent can be kept within their age group, limiting their exposure to the next level. By launching a USL Academy platform, these top prospects can be moved into a focused, pre-professional development environment with a direct and immediate connection to their local USL senior team. As teams are formed, clubs will have roster limits on the number of players included across the age range to ensure the focus remains on long-term player development. These programs will be driven by elite player development standards across a number of areas, including coaching, facilities, equipment, technology, fitness, nutrition, character development, funding, and much more. By focusing on a holistic player development approach, and by sharing resources already available at the next level, players will be able to make a seamless transition from youth to pro soccer. All clubs fielding a USL Academy program will be required to form a youth network. This helps grow the game at the grassroots level and allows players to move between each environment based on what's best for their long-term development. As more USL Academy programs begin to take shape, regionalized league conferences will form. And as USL continues to expand at the senior team level, even more pathways will open up while limiting travel demand for each team. Throughout that time, all clubs will also be able to continue participating in the USL Academy Cup events, ensuring the top talent gets to compete at the highest level throughout the year. Ultimately, by providing more communities than ever a chance to build a viable youth to pro pathway, the hope is USL can cast a wider net than ever and provide even more players the chance of chasing their dream of playing professional soccer. For more information and to stay up to date on
all we're doing is competing for dollars. That's it. We're going to produce. You got the MLS-academy, now we got the USL. I mean, we have all these things, but we hit the bullet points that sell to parents. Look, we have a pathway to pro. It's going to be elite, and we're going to have cup events where everyone gets to compete at the highest levels. They're going to have nutrition. They're going to have fitness. They're going to have technology. They hit everything that sells to America. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. They're selling a product. I get it. But this is not what do this, like do ODP, do all these things. Create these things that people want to be part of, so be it. But we need to cater, U.S. Soccer, take your money and put it towards the communities that love the game. And they do it. Let me give you an example. So at Phoenix College, we've had 3 Player of the Years. In its whole historic history since 1991, we've had 3 Players of the Year. It's the most difficult soccer conference in the country. It's just very competitive. There's been 8 national titles won out of the schools that participate. So at Phoenix College, there's been 3 ACCAC Players of the Year. 1, me. I won it twice. And by the way, the only one to win it twice, ever. And then Ryo Sugihara from Japan won it. He won it in 2013. And then Joel Sengawa won it. Now, what's interesting about that is, let's talk about Joel Sengawa. So Joel Sengawa won it in this just past season. He has only been in the United States for a year and a half. He comes from Africa. He came here as a refugee. And he didn't have a pathway to pro or elite cup events, a nutrition plan, fitness, and all this technology. He grew up loving the game, played on dirt, mind you. And they just played. They didn't have all these coaches with all this sophisticated. He's one of the most amazing players I've seen. Far as his technical ability, his ability to strike the ball. He just, everything's amazing about him. I mean, as a player. And he's happy. He's different. He came from basically the streets of Africa. Comes over here, no problem. Ryo Sugihara came from a Japanese high school. He's just extremely technical. Watch the game, love the game. We are missing that part. We don't have players that go through the DA Academy, or now it's MLS-academy or USL. They're not going to have the players that grow up in the streets loving the game. They're not going to be, as a whole, they're not going to be the ones that watch the game religiously and they really care about it. You're going to have a lot of kids that are somewhat athletic that play Fortnite. That's what we got. That's what we got. It's a problem. It's a big problem. Let's just move on to the next segment, which is where's my ACL? And I'm working on all these commercials and everything for these things, but yeah, we'll just move on.
Where's my ACL?
All right, so I'm doing a segment about where's my ACL, and the problem with this, it tends to go on the girl side. You know, it happens on both sides, but tend more on the female side. And I'm a big believer that it's more of a technical thing and bad coaching, which is causing ACL problems. And so what do we have? We have a huge increase in ACL prevention coaches and strength trainers. Went through the roof last 9 years. ACL prevention, longer than that. It just a lot of money's been spent on ACL prevention, and ACL actually injuries are increased. All-time high. Why? Because we're getting more athletes, especially on the girls' side, playing the game, but they're not good. And the coaching is terrible. Terrible. I went to an ECNL event, not last year, the year before, and it was supposed to be, it's an amazing plethora of recruiters, college coaches, national. I mean, I saw so many national team staff there. A ton. Actually, was it just this past December or January? Anyways, so I go, and there's national team coaches all over the place, recruiters and all this stuff. And I'm like, and I'm watching it. I was invited to watch one of my past players, who's really, really good, by the way, but didn't look so good because of the way they played. It was so system of these players look really good when there's no pressure, but when pressure is applied, it's a huge car crash. I kid you not. I was watching, and every 30 seconds, it was a collision of two girls that just fly into each other. And here's the coaching that you have. Go through her, put a body on, get stuck in kind of coaching. It's wrong. No technique whatsoever. The coaching is all based on winning right then. Not they refuse to take risk of allowing players to develop because it's about the coach and about winning and not about the players. If there's national team staff there, they're not going to care who wins. They want to know who can handle pressure on the ball. Eventually, sometime in your life, you're going to have to be able to escape problems, and they're not allowed to at all. They can't take a touch. They can't look up. They can't assess what's going on. They can't develop at all. And that's bad coaching. That's bad clubs. That's bad pay to play. The pay to play, you got too many parents are dictating things about, I pay a lot of money. We're here to win kind of mentality. Coaches will follow suit because they just want to get paid. That is a problem. That's why I'm not part of club. I can't be a part of that. I'd rather sit on the sideline where I'm at with Tuzos yelling at parents to shut up and fight the game that way. It's just, excuse me, it's just a mess. And it's disgusting to watch. And the only way we can improve the game is players have to develop. They first have to handle the ball. They have to look up and identify what to do with the ball and pass it to their team. They have to have a thought. They have to be able to fail and then think about it and go over that over and over and over again versus these car wrecks I see every 30 seconds at an ECNL event on the girls' side. Boys' side, same, but it's a little more technical depending where you're watching it. But it is a train wreck of crazy. Anyways, we're going to move on to medulla oblongata and laws of the game. Hey, medulla. Did you bring your kit? Oh my gosh! Quiet. All right. I'm cutting you off. Quiet. Jeez. So, I have a new Twitter handle at YesCoachCam. Send me a message on there if you have any questions about laws of the game and what we should do with it. But we're gonna have medulla oblongata. We're gonna talk about shin guards. Do we really need them? What are your thoughts on that?
I do. soccer players wear shin guards.
Yes.
Do you think they need them?
No.
I don't think so. I think most players play better without them. It's just a issue that they have to deal with that bothers them. Always pulling their socks up, having to wear the straps that match their uniform. Just nix out shin guards. That's the only protection we have anyway. We get blasted in the shin, you shake it off, rub some dirt on it, and keep moving. Stop crying about it. Everything's gonna be okay without shin guards. That's my view on this.
I agree. I love not putting. I mean, my kids. When they're little, I tell them just don't wear shin guards. I think shin guards, especially at the younger ages, it's like a weapon to them. They think they go through everything. They need to be hurt early when they're not running 100 miles per hour like an adult, and understand you don't have to go through someone's leg. You don't have to do all those things. You can be more technical about things. But those are my thoughts about it. Cleats up tackles.
Should we legalize cleats up slide tackles?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's play a game and legalize slide tackles with cleats up. We have no shin guards now. We're just playing with our socks. Cleats up, boom, hit your shin, out for the season. Yeah, let's go ahead and legalize that. No, don't do that. Referees continue to call the cleats up because we don't want to break ourselves, especially in this old, fragile age. Legalizing that will cause issues. And we don't want issues like tissues because they're all full of snot. And let's not get that snot on our shins. We want to keep playing and keep going as long as we can. So let's not legalize that. Let's keep it going. Call the call. Cleats up. Get that red card out if you're going for the knees. Take those dudes out of the game from trying to ruin the players that are bomb out there. Those strikers that are getting taken down left and right, causing the concussions, causing the broken shin guards, causing the broken hands, flipping in the air because dudes can't stop you.
Okay.
Because you're just too quick.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do, and that's just too much talking. Last question, so we move out of the segment. I thought it was going to be a fun segment, but it kind of sucks. But headgear, should we require this to wear headgear? Avoid concussions?
Why did they have this years ago?
What?
I mean, people were getting concussions left and right. Matter of fact, I know a buddy of mine who had about 13 concussions. That's practically brain dead now. Floats around and talks to his shoulder. Where was the headgear back then? I mean, we could have used it. Players needed those back in the 50s when I played. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I've had a lot of concussions. I think the little ones can use headgear, but man, they want to head the ball. That's the best time to do is when they're little. But that does the most damage to the cranium. You got something wrong with your medulla oblongata.
Okay. All right, you're done. You're done. Thanks, medulla oblongata, for coming on. That's Laws of the Game. And we're going to move on. So that's it. That's my show. It's the beginning of potentially being something good. So it's below average right now, but it can be something good, just not right now. I'll be back on next Sunday, hopefully with a better show. It took a lot of work just thinking about it, I guess. I hope you guys have a great day and have a great rest of your week as we head into the new week. And I'll be back next Sunday. See you then.